Good afternoon, Father. My name's Sean Galloway. I'm here with the Carroll County Remembers History Project. And how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Good. I'm glad you come. I'm glad you're able to stop in and spend some time with us.
Thank you.
How long have you known or been a part of the Carroll County area?
Well, now you're not asking my age, because that'll be the next question. But I've known this all my life.
All your life?
Yes.
So, like you said, next question. When were you born? How old are you?
I will be this coming week, the 21st of October, I will be 89.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So, tell me, what are some of your early memories of Carroll County?
Well, I was actually born 1 mile out of Taneytown, north of town, on the Harney Road, at where my mother and father lived. It was my grandfather's farm and business. And then we moved into Taneytown, and here's where I spent all my boyhood. And it was a lovely little town, mostly retired farmers who had given up farming but turned the farm over to their children. And it was quiet. And we had 2 warehouses here, we had 2 canning factories here, and we had one business up there on the square where they made men's pajamas. And this was the industry, really, until other industry came to town. The rubber factory, a men's clothing factory, and that was it. But the editor of our paper, the Carroll Record, Mr. Preston Engler, warned everybody that if they were going to bring outside industry here, that would change the community as such. So take your choice, what do you want? And they did build the rubber factory. They came here from New England, and they gave employment to a lot of people, not only the people of Taneytown, but elsewhere. They would come here, Keymar, Bruceville, Keysville, and all around, some from down toward Westminster. And, but it was a nice town. Everybody knew everybody. It wasn't that large. And you could walk around the town easily within the day. And we had friends. They knew who we were. We knew who they were. My dad had businesses here in the town.
Oh, really? What kind of businesses?
Well, when I was a boy growing up, he's what they called a huckster. He went out and bought chickens and eggs and butter from farmers. He had a regular route. They used to say route in those days, a route. And then he canned these eggs, the prime eggs, the best eggs, the whites from the browns. He would take the calves and feed them, and the chickens, he would kill them and dress them, although he took live chickens down to Baltimore and sold them. And he had a regular route down there, and he sold these chickens to these people. The ladies would come out, and they would feel the breasts that they were nice and fat, or they'd blow the feathers back that they could see this. And it was interesting. And he would go down 3 days a week and sell these things. And it was, they were glad to get them. And he was happy that they would, because they were for sale.
Were you your only child?
No. I'm the oldest of the family.
Okay.
And I have 2 brothers and 1 sister that were living all together. There were 3 others who did not live. So there would have been 7 of us in all.
Oh, wow. Wow. And as the oldest, I guess you were looked to kind of make sure that they were taken care of or doing what they were supposed to do?
Oh, yes. I was the big brother. You know what that means.
Yeah.
But they turned out well. My sister became a nurse, and my brother Frank, he helped my dad in the store. So did Joe, my brother Joe. Joe's living today. He's the only one beside myself. He's living in Westminster.
Oh, okay.
And he had worked for, well, Maryland Candy Company, and he worked for my dad. And then my brother Frank, he was in the butcher shop. Dad later on got into butcher and the grocery and butcher shop. Killed his own hogs and beeves and had wonderful meats, not because they were his, but he did. Cured the hams, hickory smoked hams. Never forget the taste of those hams. And We had quite a happy childhood. We were all taught to work. We all helped, went to school, got our schooling, and whatever we wanted to be in life, well, they were behind us and encouraged us. When we come home from school, my mother would see that we had our lessons done, our work done, and our play, and then get ready for dinner and study some more in the evening.
Okay. Now, you mentioned before we started rolling tape that you wrote a book. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. I wrote a book about this town in the 1930s, and I thought I'd better put this down on paper before anything happens to me, that I forget this. But could you ever forget it? So it's called A Damn Good Town. Now, don't be shocked at that. That's because when George and Martha Washington came through Taneytown, they were on their way back to Mount Vernon from New York. And they got to Taneytown, and up there where the square is today, there was a tavern there. And the man's name was Adam Good. But the A was separated from the D-A-M. So it read, A Damn Good Tavern, lodging for men and beasts. And he's supposed to have said to Martha, well, this would be the place to stay. So they stayed there overnight, and they had mush and milk for dinner. Now, I didn't know what that was, but I had 3 ladies in the community here who gave me recipes for that. You could serve that for breakfast, hot or cold, or for dinner, and that's what they had.
What's in that?
Well, I don't know. It's something like mush and milk. It's also like cereal, I would imagine, hot cereal. Now, I like hot cereal.
Right.
But although these ladies gave me these recipes, I didn't make it. I don't cook, and nobody offered to make me any, so I have yet to try it.
Okay.
But the book's about all the people that we knew, the stores, the businesses, and the events that went on, and yeah, it was fun doing it. So there are copies of it available uptown in the Chamber of Commerce office, where they have that museum. So go up and get yourself a copy.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely check it out.
Okay.
Now, the book is about Taneytown in the 30s. That was during the Great Depression. What was
right after the Depression? Yes.
What was it like in this area for your family, and not just for your family, but everybody that had to maintain? What was it like?
Well, of course, we were children. I would have been 10 years old at that time. I remember President Herbert Hoover when he was in office, and Al Smith ran for president and in 28, and then of course that collapse happened, 28, 29, and then but life went on. I mean, we didn't recall anybody bread lines that they'd speak about. I didn't even remember hearing about it at the time, and my memory is good even today. Men jumping out of windows in New York when they lost their fortunes. I mean, I could understand a thing like that happening, but we weren't looking for that. But there were pictures of bread lines. And then Roosevelt came in, opened the bank, closed the banks for 100 days, then opened them. And there was only one bank in this area that failed. That was one out of Frederick, and they had an office in Emmitsburg. And then later on, when the veterans of World War I came back to Washington, my father was in World War I, in 2 or 3 of the great battles of France. And we went to Washington to see these veterans. They camped out, and they were demanding their rights, having been in the military, and they weren't being taken care of. And so that was really a sad thing to see. But life went on here, and the New Deal was in progress, and then they had the WPA, the CCC, the NRA. My father had that sign in his window. We were all cooperating with the government that the Depression would be over with and back to normal. But life went on.
Okay. What made you want to choose the career path you did, Father? What made you
Ever since I was a
dedicate?
little boy and I served on the altar, I wanted to be a priest. And all that my mother said to me was, all right, but you be a good priest. I never forgot that. So that's what I pursued.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was ordained in 46, served in 3 churches in Baltimore, Westminster. And then I went back to Emmitsburg to Mount St. Mary's where I taught school. And I've had the best of both worlds ever since. During the weekdays, I would teach classes in the college and seminary. And then on weekends, I'd go to some church nearby, and I would help. And as they used to say to me, you can't get in any trouble just coming here on the weekend and being here for Saturday and Sunday and go home and you don't have to worry about the problems.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Still doing it.
Yeah, still doing it. Huh?
Still doing it.
Yeah. So, what have you've obviously, you said you were ordained in 1946, so you've seen a lot of things, probably talked to and counseled a lot of people. Has there been any doubt in your mind that you've picked the right career for yourself?
Oh, I have. And if I had to do this all over again, I would.
Mm.
It's been great. People have been great too.
Mm-hmm.
There have been sorrows like everybody else has, and there have been disappointments, but basically, people are good and they respond.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do it.
Okay. Now, when you look at present day Taneytown, how does it compare to what you saw when you were growing up?
Well, first of all, I come back here at least once a year while the local pastor's on vacation in January, February, and I help in our parish. I could count on 10 fingers how many people I know anymore. The rest are all new. And that's great because the church is growing and they're supporting it. There are 2 things about the town that I have read and heard that, now I'm not naive. I've seen all these things and heard these things, but to think that my hometown had poverty, that people were poor, and that there were drugs in this town with youth, well, who doesn't have them? But at the same time, that can be and is a bad habit.
Right.
But they're the only 2 things that I would say. But it's flourishing, and now they're undergoing all this reconstruction, renovation. And when that's finished, and the streets are repaved, and the trees are planted, and the lights are on, it'll be paradise again.
Paradise again.
I would hope so.
So do you feel that the city council and the mayor and everybody involved in it is doing a good job in the area?
Job. And now none of us like it while that those big earth-moving equipment are in the road. And you have to bypass and have to go around, but it's worth the effort. And after all, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
So what is it here, 3 years to get this done? I just heard this week that it's going ahead of schedule, so they had good weather. Let's hope that continues.
Yeah, yeah. Father, give me your most memorable thing about Carroll County. What sticks out in your mind, something that you think about all the time when you think about Taneytown?
Well, you know, it's been said that there are 2 counties here, Carroll, which is my own native county, and Frederick, where I am today. Those 2 counties were the farmland of this state. Beautiful farms, rolling hills, and it's a beautiful area to see. The only thing I regret, I hope, is this, that we don't lose all our farms. You know, I worry about the cows. Where are we going to get the milk if we don't have farms? Oh, someone says, oh, well, there'll be a big conglomerate someplace in the West. Well, that isn't going to do us any good. We've been very successful here. But if you're going to build houses and subdivisions, and people have to live someplace, I understand that, and water's becoming a problem, we must be careful. But we remember it as a lovely county and a lovely place to live and raise children. Now it's fast becoming, a bedroom community for Baltimore City. Would I like to drive in every day? No. Would I like to come home every night? No. because it's too much traffic. And that's becoming a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even up where I am at Frederick County, same thing.
Mm-hmm. So when you think about, you know, the way that things, how do you feel we can cut back on some of those things?
Well, I love trains, and I love transportation, like streetcars or high rail, whatever you want to call it. Leave the car at home, much easier. Mm-hmm. You get rid of all the stuff in the air that's these toxic fluids,
right,
that we have, and it's not good for your health. And you don't have to, you can take the light rail or whatever we would have, relax while you're going to work, same way coming home in the evening. Mm-hmm. But to do this in all kinds of weather, winter and spring and summer, that demands a lot. But if you want to live here and you want to work in Baltimore or Washington, that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Father, is there any message that you'd like to get out about Carroll County that someone may not know about it, someone that may be interested in the area but lives somewhere else? Is there any message that you have in your mind that you would like people to know about where you grew up?
You know, every Sunday at church, I ask people, greet them as they leave the church, and I'll always ask them, are you visiting? They may say no. They may say, we now live here. Oh, where did you come from? And they may say, we came up here from Annapolis, and we came from down in Virginia. Why did you come here? Well, I like the country. I like the mountains. Well, they said, fine. Now, it then becomes their home. And so home is where the heart is. So I would say to anybody who wants to look at the map, look up where Carroll County is, and come someday and have a visit, and just drive around and see whether you agree with that or not. But I'm sure you will, because home is where the heart is.
Thank you very much, Father. I really appreciate you spending some time with me today.
Why wouldn't I? Thank you for your kindness.
All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.